Yes, April, go right in. She's expecting you. Margo, it's...
darling.
I'm awfully sorry I was so late. It really couldn't be helped.
It's all right. Everything quiet on the home front?
Well, more or less. I have Jaimey with a neighbor.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're finally here because everything has been far from quiet on the news front.
Margo, I wonder, do you have a minute? Could we talk?
No, could you make it about 30 seconds?
I mean it.
Well, darling, what's the matter? Something wrong?
Well, it has to do with Jaimey. Raven has left her husband and taken off for London.
What?
Yeah, well, the most important detail of this whole story is that last night Raven made a visit to our house and gave us her baby.
Gave you the baby?
Yeah,
well, what an expression.
Okay, well, what I mean is that she left the baby here for good.
Well, what about her husband?
Well, she, obviously doesn't want Logan to have the baby. You know, Jaimey is her child, and the legal father is Kevin Jameson, who is dead, and the only legal claim Logan has to Jaimey is that he's married to Raven.
Well, darling, are you sure this is permanent or just maybe a bad quarrel?
Oh, no, it's permanent. I mean, they're talking divorce. That's not the only thing that was permanent, though Raven made it perfectly clear that she wanted me to take Jaimey permanently. She even brought over some legal papers in case there were any questions.
Well, but wait a minute. Are you telling me that you have just become a mother?
Yeah.
Well, darling, how do you feel about that?
How do I feel? I had time to feel. I don't know. Margo, I'm really confused. I don't know. I'm excited. I haven't felt this kind of excitement since I got the job at MON. I thought that was the best thing that happened to me in a long time.
But now you have a 6-month-old baby to take care of, and...
Yeah, and Margo, I just don't know what to do. I love Jaimey, and I love my job.
Hey, wait, right there. You know what I think you ought to do? I think you ought to take a little time off from this job you love and start taking care of that baby that you love.
Margo, I really appreciate the offer, but I don't know if I take a leave of absence, I realize that that's just going to put a lot more pressure on your shoulders.
Don't worry about that, darling. I'm sure I'll be able to find someone to fill in. You notice I said fill in and not replace.
Thank you. Because I don't want to lose this job. And I know, give me some time and I'll be able to, you know, mend the motherhood and the career
Just
altogether.
stop worrying about everything and do exactly what you think you have to do. Darling, I know right now that you're thinking with your heart. I just hope you'll start thinking with your head.
And now, what do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is the whole idea of Raven Jameson giving you the baby, darling. I don't think she can do that. It is not a cup of
Margo,
sugar or an old...
I understand that. Raven does not want the baby, her baby. Isn't that ironic? I mean, here's a woman who can have a baby, has one and doesn't want it. And here's a woman who wants one and can't have one.
Now you have one. Oh, good grief. I just thought of a horrible side effect.
What?
Do you realize that this makes me a grandmother?
Oh, Granny Margo.
And watch that stuff. Hey, darling, before you go making any great plans, I really think you better get some legal advice.
Oh, Margo, you seem to forget that I'm married to a lawyer. My legal advice comes free.
Okay, well, what does Draper think about all this?
Oh, well, you know how he is.
Yeah, I know how he is, all right. Darling, how does he feel about becoming an instant father?
Well, he likes Jaimey. He likes him a lot. As a matter of fact, Draper was the first one that ever mentioned adoption.
What, but you're not adopting Jaimey, or are you?
Well, we could. You see, along with some of the other papers Raven brought over, she brought over an adoption consent agreement, and we can start legal procedures at any time. That's what Mike said.
Mike Carr?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you went to see Mike Carr with Draper?
Oh, no, by myself.
Oh. Well, what does Logan Swift say about all this?
Margo, I told you there's very little Logan can say. He has no legal rights.
Well, darling, come on, he could make some sort of a fuss, or doesn't he want the little baby either?
No, he wants the baby.
Well, aren't you afraid he might put up some sort of fight?
Well, he could try to take us to court. That's what Mike said. But, Margo, what's better for the baby? 2 parents? Or one single man who works 16 hours a day and can't possibly afford the time and energy to take care of the baby?
Well, look, I just know how much this means to you, and I don't want you building yourself up for a big disappointment.
Margo, I can't have a baby of my own. And I love Jaimey. And I know I will make a terrific mother.
Yeah, I know you will.
I'm not going to let Jaimey go. Not for anything in the whole world.
In all the time you knew him, there was no indication he had another identity.
None whatsoever. I believed him to be Mickey Dial's bartender and nothing else. But knowing the truth now, I suppose I'm not totally surprised.
Why do you say that?
Because Mickey always had a hard edge to him. The night here when he foiled the assassination attempt on Paige Madison, his nerves were steady as a rock. I mean, he had absolutely no emotion in overtaking the life of another man.
Well, as it turned out, that man was deliberately set up to be killed, so it would mean one less person he'd have to share the money with.
Yeah. Well, he certainly fooled us. Huh? We thought Mickey was a hero.
Well, thank you very much. Oh, by the way, the night that Dr. Kavanaugh was kidnapped, do you know that you started all that?
I did? Oh.
Well, Mrs. Kavanaugh told me that she and the Scotts were dining here, and they were waiting for the doctor to arrive when he telephoned here and said he was going to be working late.
For heaven's sake. Yes, Dr. Kavanaugh did call here. And Mickey overheard the whole conversation. Isn't that strange?
Excuse me, Mr. Dorn, but there's somebody here who'd like to see you.
Well, excuse me, Mrs. Carr, a former employee of mine.
I understand.
Hello, Mr. Dorn, and how are we today?
Oh, hello, Sarah. Didn't you get the reference I sent you?
I didn't come here for any reference, Mr. Dorn. I came here for a drink.
Oh, I'm sorry, but we won't be open for another few hours.
Oh, you seem to have made an exception for her.
This lady is from the press, Sarah.
She doesn't look like a newspaper man to me.
We were discussing my bartender and the charges against him.
Oh, is that what you were discussing? That's not the kind of thing you usually talk about with an attractive woman, Elliott. Listen, Ducky, you look like a very nice lady to me. I think you should be warned about your friend here.
Sarah!
Mr. Dorn, thank you very much. I think I have all the information I need for right now. Goodbye, Ducky.
I just can't turn my back on you for 1 minute, can I, Elliott? You'd chase anything in a skirt, wouldn't you?
Okay, Sarah. What do you want?
I want to know if you've kept your promise to me. If you've stopped seeing that floozy the district attorney is married to.
Well, I told you that was just a casual thing. 2 ships passing in the night.
Well, the English Armada is here to make sure that the waters don't get too crowded.
Well, you'll be very pleased to know, Sarah, that Mrs. Swift has left her husband, her child, country, and me, and gone back to merry old England. Maybe you should follow in her footsteps.
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
In fact, I wonder if you didn't have a hand in what happened between Mr. and Mrs. Swift.
Oh, me?
Yes, you. You've been making some very serious threats, my girl.
Well, it's a lucky thing for you I didn't go to your wife. If she knew what you've been doing with the district attorney's wife, the specialty of the house tonight would be your head on a silver platter.
No, you wouldn't go to Margo. You're too worried about your own head, darling. Don't forget, you're involved in that little burglary caper of ours.
Well, I did the next best thing. I told the district attorney a few things he ought to know.
You did that?
Well, I only did it because I'm so unhappy, Elliott.
I see. And if you're unhappy, you have to spread it around.
Oh, but she was nothing but a cheap tart, Elliott. You don't have to go with married women. What's wrong with us single types?
Excuse me. I have work to do.
But, Elliott, I did it for you. I want things to be the way they were between us.
You mean when you were my servant and I was your master?
They were wonderful days at the penthouse, Elliott.
When you took all my orders?
I still will. I'll do anything you ask.
Then do this. Walk out that door. Go to the busiest intersection you can find. And cross the street against the light. Will you do that for me?
All right, Ducky. I'll take a walk, all right. Only I know just where I'm going.
Well, here you are, Nola. New home of Owen Madison Productions.
Yeah, well, it sort of fits my image, doesn't it? A little rundown and dilapidated.
It's not exactly stage 17 at Warner's, but I think it's going to be fun shooting here.
Are you sure they did talkies here, Eddie?
Well, it's not the most modern of facilities, but that's why we got it so cheap.
Oh, but you said you'd be able to turn it into a workable soundstage.
At a hell of a lot less money than it would take to make this production in L.A.
Well, it's still going to take big bucks to set it up for filming. Money, I might add, that isn't in the budget for Mansion of the Damned.
Well, it takes a little money to make a little money, that's what they say.
Now, how would you know, Eddie? You never had any money.
Well, I will have when I get my percentage from what this pig is going to gross.
Do I have to tell you how much it's going to cost to set this place up? Acoustics?
No, I still think you ought to record this Dragon stereo. You know, we could make those theaters shake. We could pull some of those special effects. Wait, we jar them right out of their seats.
I knew this was going to happen. We're not even out of pre-production already. The budget's skyrocketed.
Oh, I think this is a wonderful place to shoot the film. Oh. Talk about an atmosphere to shoot a horror movie.
I'm going to have to rent a couple of trailers for dressing rooms. I'm going to get a nice big star for Nola's.
Have you any idea how long it'll take before we're ready to go before camera?
Well, I have to get the production designer from L.A. to come out here and check the place out before renovations.
Don't forget these lighting grids. You know, if we can hang lights from what we've got here, we won't have to build scaffolding.
Yeah. Well, now take it easy. Eddie, now that lighting equipment hasn't been used for years.
Don't worry about me, Owen. Nothing can hurt a thick-skinned press agent except a lousy review. Let's see if these things work. Hey, how about that? I guess it didn't do so badly by you. Get all this equipment along with the deal?
Ah, terrific, Eddie. 7 Klieg lights. And a dolly that they haven't made replacement parts for in about 7 years.
This does bring back memories. I can't tell you how wonderful it feels to have a light shining down on me again. Hand me your script, Owen.
Sure.
Lights. Camera. Action.
Prince of eternal darkness, come unto me. Master of foulness, hold out thy hand. Breathe thy tongue of fire upon my face. Scorch my lips with thy searing kiss. Brand my soul with the irons of hell. I accept thee, Lord of evil. My heart yields to thy power. Euphus, Metahim, Frugativi, et Appellavi. Thus I evoke thee, Satan.
Oh, my God.
Nola, are you all right?
I'm fine. Talk about ending a scene with a bang.
Oh, why? I must have frayed and blown that bulb out. No big deal, though.
Oh, Eddie, I warned you about that equipment. It's lucky that none of us were any closer. We could have gotten badly cut.
Well, the only thing damaged is going to be your wallet. We're going to have to get an electrician in here to go over all this wiring.
Perhaps Hester didn't care for my reading.
Oh, the devil.
Oh, come on. It was just a bulb that blew. That's all that happened. What's the matter with you two?
Right on time, though.
Yes, too much on time. I nearly jumped out of my skin. You don't suppose this is a genuine curse, do you?
Oh, come on. Nola, there's no such thing as a curse.
You know what I mean. I wonder if the man who wrote the screenplay just made it up, or if it came from some ancient writings.
Oh, I think it probably just came from Hester's original manuscript. No wonder she couldn't get it published. I mean, who'd want to read things like this? Euphus and Metahim, Frugativi. What kind of a language is that?
It's hokum, that's what it is. It's the oldest language in the world.
Well, I just hope it wasn't old Hester trying to stop us from shooting. You know, maybe we ought to change these spells in the screenplay, just in case.
Yeah, look, all I want to do right now is just get out of here and go over to the hospital. Oh, Paige is coming out today, huh?
Yes, darling, Brian said he'd take her home.
Yeah.
I want to be there, too.
But we just arrived, Owen. I wanted to spend a little time here. Oh, all right. I suppose Paige comes first, as usual.
Oh, let's go.
Tell Mr. Green that I expect to have that list of prospective witnesses in my office by the end of the week. Yeah.
Mike.
That's right. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Sorry, Mike.
What can I do for you, Draper?
I just wanted to let you know that I got a call from Bill Marceau a couple of minutes ago. The Paige Madison case, officially closed.
Well, thank goodness the charges have been dropped. I guess Miss Madison must be feeling pretty good knowing that she has nothing else to worry about.
That's for sure. Look, Mike, I'll talk to you later. I have to run.
Draper, just a second. Would you close the door, please? Sure. Earlier today, I had an interesting consultation with a prospective client, but I don't think I'm the proper attorney to handle this matter.
Oh, well, something you could refer to me?
No, I'm afraid both of us are too close to the situation. Huh? Draper, I had a meeting with April this morning.
April? What was April doing here?
She talked to me about obtaining legal custody of Jaimey.
For Pete's sake.
She wanted to know if those papers Raven had presented to you were legal.
Legal? Mike, do you know what those legal documents were? I mean, one was a letter from Raven saying we could raise Jaimey. The other was the adoption paper.
I told her that in and of itself, that letter wasn't legally recognizable as permission for custody.
That's good, Mike.
But that it could be used in a court of law in her favor to be appointed legal guardian.
Legal guardian? Mike, I told you, Logan is Jaimey's natural father.
Yes, and if that fact were proven in a court of law, that would put a different light on this matter. Then Logan would stand a very good chance of winning custody.
What's all this nonsense about winning or losing? Mike, I'm not going into court over this.
Then you better make that very clear to your wife.
Well, I told April that we'll take care of Jaimey until Logan makes other arrangements. But, Mike, I'm not going to fight a man over his own son.
Draper, you realize how deeply April loves that child.
Yeah, I know, Mike. Jaimey is the son that we're never going to have.
I got the impression that she's going to be very tenacious about trying to keep Jaimey.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I'm going to have a little talk with April.
Draper, be prepared. Your toughest battle's not going to be with Logan, but with your own wife.
All right, my darling, your leave of absence begins immediately.
Margo, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your kindness.
Well, I'm a very kind person. Oh, thank you, darling. Yes, Linda. Who? Sarah Albright? Yes, of course I know her. She's my ex-maid. What on earth does she want with me?
Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Oh, Sarah.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Scott.
Sarah?
Oh, yes, of course you two have met before.
More than once.
It's so nice to see you again.
Yeah, I'm sure. Bye, Margo.
Bye, darling.
Linda?
Oh, Sarah. My goodness, this is a surprise.
Yes, it has been a while, Mrs. Dawn.
Well, sit down, please. And what can I do for you?
Actually, it's what I can do for you, Mrs. Dawn.
Really?
You know, during the time I worked for you, I was always treated most kindly. And I said to myself, if ever I should get the chance to repay that kindness, I would.
And now you want to do something for me.
Well, when I tell you this, it may not seem like a friendly act, but I do think it's in your best interest that you know.
Know what?
It's about your husband, Mrs. Dorn. I think you should know the truth.
Something tells me I don't want to hear this.
He's been unfaithful to you, Mrs. Dorn.
And how on earth would you know that?
Well, I must ask you to trust me as one friend to another. He's been seeing a woman called Raven Jameson.
The wife of the district attorney?
Yes, that's her. They've been having an affair for quite some time now.
Listen here, Sarah, I don't know where you get your gutter gossip from, but I cannot believe that.
Well, you don't have to take my word for it, Mrs. Dorn. You can ask the district attorney himself.
Logan knows about this?
Oh, well, it's over now because he found out. In fact, Mr. and Mrs. Swift have parted. Mrs. Swift has gone abroad.
How on earth do you know this?
You can ask Logan Swift, Mrs. Dorn, or your husband.